Roar!
Ew.
R is for redacted. Dear Senator Corwin, I am writing to you today because of recent questionable and disturbing events. I live in Santa Ana. I have done so for about 30 years now. My mother, however, has spent her whole life in Anaheim, Texas. It's a small town, barely 100 people in total, and she lived a very happy life there. In regards to Anaheim, I know everything about it because I grew up there. It was a quiet, very personal community. They stuck to their guns and each other, and that's it. I was one of the only kids who ever sprung up out of that dirty hole. Me and my brother, that is. Everyone else were ranchers, ex or current. To them and me, Anaheim was about as real as anything. Now, the problem I'd mentioned earlier started about 4 months ago. That's how long it's been since I've been in contact with my mother. The last time she called, she'd mentioned something strange had been happening with her neighbour, and she thought he was up to something rather fishy. She was rather panicked about it, and my mother's a Texas-born woman, so it would have taken something pretty serious to rile her up. So I drove up to stay with her. Now, Anaheim is just northwest of Santa Ana, a little ways. It's an hour north, straight up 283, and then on to 153. It'll take you all the way up, and then you'll find Anaheim just off 153 before you hit Nolan onto Farm Road. I know this because I go there all the time. The problem is, when I got to the turnoff, there was a police cornering off Farm Road. I asked what they were doing, and they told me to leave or I'd face federal prosecution. So I went up, around, north, past Nolan, and I was told to stop at 2 other roads that led to Anaheim. And again, I was told about federal prosecution. I tried calling my mother again, and there was no answer. So I waited with a friend in Nolan for the night, and came the next day. I couldn't find Farm Road at all. I couldn't find any road that led to Anaheim. I got to a point of frustration, where I even tried to walk through the dirt to get there, only to find that there's now a fence surrounding the whole town. I was asked to leave at gunpoint by federal guards long before I was able to get within half a mile of the fence. It's going on for months now, and I still have no answers. The town no longer appears on Google, and I've been asking around. There seems to be a gag order on any reference to the town. My friend in Nolan, the very one I stayed with, is now terrified and adamant that Anaheim had never existed. He continued to encourage me as such, like he's trying to bribe me. But it did. My mother is still in there, and I need to make sure she's okay. I need answers. My brother needs answers. Please find this letter well. Amanda Hawkins. Dear Miss Hawkins, I've been authorized to write to you on behalf of Senator Conan. It is my understanding that for the past several months now, you've had an inquiry involving a particular town in western Texas, Anaheim, Texas. In regards to this inquiry, I can personally assure you that there is no such place as Anaheim, Texas. I've been very thorough, I assure you. There has never been a town such as the one you described in the registry. There's nothing south of Nolan besides wind turbines and farmland. I apologize for any inconvenience and undue stress this has caused you. If you have any further questions, please feel free to respond to the return address on this letter. I would love to answer any further questions you might have. Perhaps you could send me your mother's name and we could search for her current whereabouts. Robert McConnell, DSA. And a howling thank you to my Patreons.